All right, we're on Module 2, Lesson 2. Welcome back. Congratulate yourself for staying consistent with this course. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go into the meat and potatoes, you guys. We're going to understand the major arcanas because the major arcanas are what tells the story. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to trust your first impressions and use the keyword method. So this is going to be a long one. Okay, so make sure you have your notes. All right. So today we're going to talk about the VIP section of the tarot deck. That's what I call the major arcana. So these are the cards that represent the biggest lessons, okay? These are the biggest turning points, the biggest transformations, the biggest spiritual themes that you can think of in a person's life. Now, here's where beginners get overwhelmed. You see the 22 major arcana cards and think, oh no, I have to memorize all of these? No, not today. Today, I'm going to teach you how to read major arcanas without getting trapped in memorization. That's why we're going to use keywords. But by the end of this lesson, though, you will have 3 tools. You're going to be able to tell a story. You're going to be able to trust your first impressions. And you're going to use a keyword method. This helped me, okay? So this is how you begin reading confidently while you're still learning. So what are the major arcanas? I'll give you some examples. Just think of them as the big life lessons. Think of them as the soul's journey. These cards often really show up when a person's life is changing, when important decisions are happening, when spiritual growth is occurring, when old versions of yourself are ending, when new chapters are beginning. Okay, so when a lot of major arcana cards appear in a reading, to me, that's usually a sign that something significant is happening in that person's life that I'm reading for. So if you think about it, that's the major. The minor is daily life. Okay, so major life lessons for the major arcana. So one is weather, and then the other one is climate. You can think of it like that. It all starts, you guys, remember, like I said, in Module 1, where it's the Fool's Journey is really what we are tapping into, okay? One of the easiest ways to understand major arcana is through something called the Fool's Journey. So that's where, the reason being is because it starts at 0, okay? The Fool knows nothing. The Fool represents innocence, the possibility, the curiosity, new beginnings. So as the Fool travels through life, they meet every major arcana card. Okay? So each card is what teaches the lessons along the way. For example, you've got the Magician, right? The Magician is all about learning your power. I'm going to go more into this and give you the keywords. The High Priestess is trusting your intuition. Okay. Then you have the Empress here is create and nurture. The Emperor, build structure. Hierophant, learn from tradition. The Lovers, choose up or choose. The Chariot, move forward. Strength card, master yourself. I can go on, but I'm giving the most common ones. Let's choose the Death card. Transform. Okay. The Star, hope, healing. And then the World, completion. Okay. So the major arcana isn't 22 random cards, you guys. It really tells a story. It's a one giant story about growth. And this method alone can change your entire readings every time. You know, like I said, beginners always ask, what does this mean? And the better question that you want to ask is, what story is the card telling, right? So for example, let's think of the Fool. Don't memorize, just observe the Fool, right? What do you see? Person standing near the edge, carrying a small bag. In this case, you know, he has a whole bunch of numbers, but in the Rider-Waite deck, I like these cards because they're prettier. A bright sky, he's looking forward. So Someone is beginning a journey. They're excited. They don't know everything yet. You know, they're taking a leap of faith. You know, that's tarot reading. For example, let's say you chose like tarot. Let's say you chose the Hermit. In the Hermit, what do you see? You see an old person, an old figure, a lantern. He's alone. He's searching. So this is someone that's pulling back, you know, leaning inward, seeking some sort of wisdom, solitude. Okay, so I want you to start pulling Major Arcana cards. And then, you know, ask yourself, what story is this telling? Okay, so I want you to pull random Major Arcana cards and really ask yourself, what story is happening here? Not, what does the guidebook say? Trust your first impressions, you guys. This is where intuition really starts developing. First impressions matter, right? So when you see a card, notice, where do your eyes go? What symbol stands out? You know, what feeling appears? What thoughts enter your mind? These clues really do matter. You have no idea. Let's say, for example, 3 different people pull the Tower card. Person A sees lightning. Another person sees people falling. Someone else is paying attention to the structure collapsing. So all 3 people who are reading, may receive different but valid messages. So don't immediately talk yourself out of what you notice. You know, that's kind of, I would say, that could be an issue, right? When you're reading. First impressions, this feels like someone needs freedom. 2 seconds later, you're like, no, that's probably wrong. And then they shut down their intuition. So trust that first hit. Not every impression is perfect, but your confidence grows through practicing every day. Now, this is how I got it down. I want you to try the 3 keyword method, okay? This is going to make things a lot easier. Every Major Arcana has a core energy now. We know this, right? So think of each card having one primary keyword. It's also not going to be the only meaning, just the anchor point of it. So keywords. So you have the Fool card, which is the beginning. Okay. Then you have the Magician, which is power. Then you have the High Priestess, which is intuition. Then you have the Empress, which is creation. You have the Emperor, which means structure. Then you have the Hierophant, which is tradition. Then you have the Lovers, which is choice. You have the Chariot for movement. The Strength card for courage. The Hermit. Right, that's the Hermit. You have the Hermit here. That's going to be reflection. Okay. Wheel of Fortune. That's going to be change. You have Justice. That's going to be balance. You have the Hanged Man. That's going to be surrender. You have Death. That's going to be transformation. You have Temperance, harmony. You have the Devil, attachment. We have the Tower, disruption. We've got the Star, hope. And you have the Moon, uncertainty. And you have the Sun for success, judgment, awakening. And last but not least, the World, completion. Okay, so how do you use this? Well, step 1 is going to be to look at the card. Step 2 is going to be identify the keyword. And step 3 is blend the keyword with the story. And then step 4 is going to blend it with the question. That's it. So you're going to start questioning yourself, what energy surrounds my career? Let's say, for example, somebody asked that. Well, that could be the Chariot card, because the keyword is movement. And the story that it tells is someone's driving forward. So you can interpret that as you have some sort of momentum within your career field. You have some sort of progress. You're taking control. There's some forward action going on. Simple, right? So combining all 3 methods, here's the formula that I want you to use moving forward, okay? For example, I want you to look at we're on the majors. I want you to look at the card, tell the story, Notice the first impressions, use the keyword, and apply it to the question. Okay? Let's say, for example, the star, right? So this story, someone is under the stars, they're pouring water. So your first impression is going to be like peace, healing, And remember the key word, hope, right? So you can look at it as this is a person that's healing, there's renewal, there's faith after some sort of difficult moment. Done. That's it. So I want you to stop trying to become a human dictionary, because tarot isn't about memorizing hundreds of meanings. It's really about understanding energy. So today you learned how to tell the story. You learned how to trust your first impressions. You learned keywords as anchors. I will have a document down below. Those are 3 skills alone, okay, that will make your readings a lot stronger than most beginners. So in the next lesson, we're going to move into the minor arcanas, you guys, and learn how to read the 4 suits quickly without feeling overwhelmed by all those 56 cards. But first, you do have homework. So I do want you to pull 5 major arcana cards, okay? And for each card, you're going to write what story you see, the first impression, the keyword, and I want you to give me a short interpretation with just that information. So do all of that before looking at the guidebook. And that's how you begin building your own tarot voice instead of borrowing someone else's. And I'll see you on the next one.